Hello everybody and welcome back to the program. Today I'm going to talk to you guys about what the difference is, the main differences from a repressing to an original pressing when it comes to vinyl. So let's get started. The way as collectors look at it is that everything besides that number one original pressing that came out in 19 whatever is the number one. Everything else after that is just a reproduction. In today's world, we like to take digital files from a digital source that was recorded in the studio by the artist and press it to vinyl because we feel as though the vinyl is a superior source somehow because you can get bigger packaging. You see a lot of the packaging is like to the nines nowadays. For example, take this Harry Styles record. This was probably recorded digitally from a digital source. It wasn't from tape. It wasn't in a superior format. So basically you get a ton of packaging, and this record has been known to be pressed on all different kinds of colored vinyl, which is another thing too. People love to collect colored vinyl now because that kind of, I believe, like look at this packaging. Look at the this is a giant poster. For nowadays, like you would never be getting that in the past. You would never be getting that in the 60s, 50s, 60s. Sometimes in the 70s and 80s they started doing that, but that was because vinyl itself was on the back burner dying, and it died in the 90s, and it's come back now, I believe, because of the packaging. You can get a lot of packaging for your music in the form of vinyl, and that in return is a overcompensation for the music being subpar in a way because it is digitally sourced. It's not recorded on tape, which is a far superior method back in the day to be recording your music. So everything is digital. So basically vinyl from the 2000s and on is an audio file on your computer pressed to vinyl, and that you might as well be pulling up your phone and opening your Amazon Music or Apple Music and playing a song in a compressed format such as that. Might as well be that in today's vinyl market. The main ways you can tell is the feeling of the cardboard is going to be thicker, the heavyweight vinyl is going to be thicker, the pictures are going to be pristine looking, the price is going to be high. But today I want to show you what a reproduction looks like. A repress is a reproduction of an album that came out, say, in the early 60s. For this example, we've got Frank Sinatra's Come Fly With Me, pressed in the early 60s on Capitol. And this is a complete reproduction of that album. And the only ways you can tell is the 180 gram vinyl that it comes on, which would not have been the thing back in the day. It would have not have been pressed on 180 gram heavyweight vinyl. It would have been way thinner. This album probably has inner groove distortion due to that. I believe that heavier weight vinyl is a product that will give you an inferior sound in the middle of that recording, in the middle to end of the recording, towards the middle of the label. You'll start to hear a little bit of degrading in the music, in the quality. That is called inner groove distortion, and it's a staple of today's vinyl, unfortunately. It's something that is flawed and didn't used to happen back in the day, and I do believe it's because the vinyl was perhaps thinner, and maybe the grooves were more laid out in a, it's a very hard thing to describe, and maybe the grooves back then were a little bit more defined toward the middle of the label there, as opposed to today. A lot of today's pressing plants are on a budget, and they're just trying to pump these things out. It is very expensive to press vinyl in today's market, in today's music. So any artist that you see that's putting out vinyl has the cash to back it, because it is an expensive endeavor. And all these, like I said, all these packaging plants are on a budget, and they're rushing, and they're just trying to get stuff out, and so the product is a little bit subpar in return of that and due to that. Back to this album, I will tell you that this is a complete reproduction of everything that you'd see on the back, the front, and the ways you can tell the difference is not only the price. Nowadays in a record store you could probably find this album, the original pressing, for about $5 to $10. The new high fidelity repressing, reproduction, brand new, is going to run you $30. Big difference there. And the reproduction, repressing, is not always going to be the superior version because it is not a relic, not something from that time. I like to go back and to relive that moment where Frank Sinatra was brand new and this came out and it was like, wow, this is Frank's new album. What was it like? Experiencing it from a used original pressing is totally different than just buying the brand new reproduction on inferior heavyweight vinyl. That I do like the feel of a heavyweight vinyl record, but it is not the same quality toward the middle of the label, as I said, for most cases. Not all cases, but most. So there's something about buying that original pressing. Today I'll go into a record store and I will be looking for original pressings of certain music. Is it going to be beat up? Is it going to be good looking? Is it going to be cleanable? Can I get those scratches on the cover out? Can I clean it up? Can I use a little bit of product on this to get everything looking like spick and span? That is the hunt of this hobby and the fun of it for me. It's about the hunt a lot of the times. Here is yet another example of a record that was pressed from the original master recording, MoFi pressing of Dean Martin's This Time I'm Swingin'. So this, you get a special edition number and it's pressed on Capitol, but this is a reproduction, but it is sourced from the original master recording. That is important. This sounds like Dean's in the room when you put this on. You want that. You don't want to sound like it's from a compressed digital file. Recording music to tape is a vastly different experience and lends itself to becoming a vast sound floor because of it. Nobody records on tape anymore because it's a hassle, it's costly, and it takes a lot of time. Why not just open up your software on your computer, put your mic up, and sing the song? Boom, there it is. It's on the computer already. That is a detriment to today's music. I mean, it might sound clear, but it is compressed compared to tape. Tape is vastly different. It is way bigger, and I wished I could show you the differences, but not on YouTube, unfortunately. Pressed from Mobile Fidelity Sound Lab, this is an extremely fantastic recording. Again, it sounds like Dean's in the room. MoFi pressings are great. They're hard to come across sometimes because so many people want them, and they are costly. So they're great. If I could find more of those, I totally would. But again, there's something about finding the old records from the 60s, 70s, and saying, who played these? You know, who owned this? What enjoyment did they get out of it? This is like going back in time. They're relics, and it's something that it's fascinating. This hobby's fascinating to even wrap my head around how it even works. It shouldn't work. A needle is in a groove and producing such great sound. That shouldn't work. And again, you want to be looking for original pressings that are not dinged up, scratched up, got huge gashes, you got the pops, clicks. You want to be looking in the store. Open up, pull the vinyl out and look at it. Turn it sideways, turn it wherever way the light shines on it where you can see the quality of that vinyl record. That is the most important part, because cleaning it is not going to do what it should in getting the scratches out. You can't reverse scratches and dings and scuffs. You can't take that back. That is like having a speed bump on your recording. You will hear that. You will feel that when you're hearing it, and you don't want that. So you want to find an original pressing that is clean, taken care of, and sometimes they will be in the high price range, and sometimes they won't. A lot of people don't know what they have. You gotta just look in the record stores and find those original pressings, or something close to the original pressing, something close enough. If the record was pressed in the early 60s, if you find a later 60s pressing, close enough, because it is still the tape source. There was no digital files back then. They were just using the tape source, and maybe they touched it up a little bit, even better. So it came a time in music where in the 90s vinyl died, such as this In Sync record right here. You've got something that died out right after this. Vinyl was gone, so this was still recorded via tape, and this in doing so this is a reproduction, a repress. It still is great because it's pressed from a tape source, so that is important. So this one is clear. It's a clear vinyl. Again, trying to capitalize on that packaging, because nowadays that's hip, because people think, what is the difference between a file and a vinyl record? Files are compressed sounding. They don't sound as dense as a vinyl record will. Another couple examples I will pull up are these Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. There's differences. There's a white border on the top. That looks pristine as could be. I don't remember how much I paid for this, but it is pressed on Capitol. So this is a Capitol, like, sort of maroon label. Beautiful looking label there. I love that. But see, this is not an original pressing. This is you can tell by the Capitol label like that. If you are just starting out in this hobby, I will highly suggest that you download Discogs onto your phone or on your computer and look at the first listing on there for the album or artist that you're looking for. Look up the album and find the first listing. Whatever that barcode is, you will be able to look and see on the side what that is, on the side of the record, or on the top, or at the bottom right hand corner of the back cover will show you a number, a barcode, an identification number, and you can match that to your Discogs to be able to find the most original pressing. And it's a great tool to use to find what pressing you have. This output from Giles Martin is superior to the others, I believe, because the bass has been risen. Another detriment to having an original pressing is that the bass isn't going to shine a lot of the times, because they couldn't press that kind of sound to a vinyl record. Again, this is a flawed medium, but it is a medium that astounds me and astounds all of us, I believe, to think, how does this even work? He did an excellent job. So this is a Parlophone. You get a Parlophone black and yellow, classy. That is just classy label. You get the Parlophone. The other one was Capitol, so this is Parlophone, which I would prefer. There was no outer ring distortion with this pressing. It is pristine and looks gorgeous. They spare no expense. They produce these things like it's 1967 all over again for a modern age. And these are from the original master tapes. So it is not from a digital sourced file. You have to be leery of that. So just to go over it, you want to be able to find a pressing that is clean looking on the cover, clean on the vinyl, and not too beat up. If it's too beat up, you're going to get pops, clicks, scratches, and it's not going to sound great. You're going to wonder, why did I invest any money in this original pressing where I could have just bought it new? I would just suggest you all be leery as to whether or not the record is sourced digitally. Nowadays, every record that is produced from a modern artist is going to be a digital file sourced thing. It's costly to record on tape. Nobody does that anymore. So it's fascinating to be able to find those original mono before there was even stereo pressings. So mono pressings is another thing, is mono pressings are higher in value. I'll do another video in the future as to why. Good luck in your findings, happy collecting, and I will catch you on the next video. Thank you again for watching, and perhaps you want to ring the bell to not miss another one of my videos so you'll be notified. Until then, you can find me lounging to a melody. Take care, folks. Hey guys, and thank you for tuning in for this episode. If you want to follow me on Instagram, it's Manza Media Art and Manza Media on every other platform. If you like prints, I have an Etsy shop if you want to buy some of my original artwork and fan artwork. I encourage you to like and subscribe and give it a big thumbs up. Thank you.